Hello everyone, welcome to this video on how to get started with the Ohbot software. This video presumes you've already got an Ohbot constructed and plugged into your PC and that you've downloaded the Ohbot application from the Windows App Store and installed it. So when we open up the Ohbot application, the first thing we need to do is to go to File and New to open a new script. And you can see that opens up in the script area here a blank page. Next, what we're going to do is go into the events block, because whenever we write a program in the Ohbot software, in the Ohbot application, then we need to use an event block to trigger the program off. So you can see here there's a few different options, and the one I'm going to use is when green flag is clicked. So I'm going to drag that over from the palette here into the scripting area over here and drop it in. Next, we want to decide what we want to happen when we click the green flag, so what we want to happen when we start the program. So to do that, I'm going to make the robot move. So to do that, I'm going to move into the motion blocks, and the palette of motion blocks is here. And you can see lots of different blocks, one corresponding to each of the 7 motors that you can control on an Ohbot. Each of the motors can be set to any number between 0 and 10. So 0 is turned all the way one way, and 10 is turned all the way the other way. So what I need to do is drag this set head turn block and snap it underneath the when green flag clicked block. Now, if I run this as on its own as is, then it's not going to do anything, and the reason for that is that Ohbot's default position for the head turn is 5. So if you tell it to move to 5, it's not going to move because 5 is where it already is. But if we tried another number, say 10, and click run on that, so I'm going to click start at the top, you can see that the robot's head turns all the way over to position 10. Now, we could try another number. For instance, we could try 3. And that will turn back the other way. So that's working well. And the next thing we might want to look at is how to go from just a single instruction or a single command to a sequence. So to do that, we need to bring in another block. So we want to set the head turn to position 3, and then we want to set to another position. Let's try 10 again. Now you might think that I could just snap that underneath and that would work, but because of the fact that this is a physical robot that we're controlling the position of, then we actually need to bring in another block here to give the robot some time so that it can move to position 3 before we send the command to move to 10. So to do that, I go into the control blocks and I take one of these yellow wait 1 second blocks. I can snap that underneath the head turn, and then I can snap the other head turn position underneath. Now, if we run this program, let's see what happens. So it's going to go to 3, then move back over to 10. If we run it again, and you can see that the first time I ran that, it didn't move for the first command, and that's because it started at position 3 and then moved to 10. But the second time, because it was starting at position 10, it was able to move to 3 and then back to 10 again. So that's working quite well. We could add another position in, another wait, and then we could try setting the head turn to, let's try 5. That's good. Okay, so now if I run this program, we're going to go over to 3, 10, and then 5. So that's working really nicely. At the moment, we're just using a static number, so just one number like 3 to set the position. What we might want to do is use a sensor to change that number so that it's a bit more interactive. So the way I could do that is go into my sensing blocks and take one of these sensor blocks here. You can see all the different options here. I'm going to use this mouse X. And what mouse X block does is a variable block, and it reports back the position of the mouse in the X-axis. So you can see when I put the mouse to the left-hand side of the screen, you can see up here the position it's reporting back. When it's at the left, then the mouse X is equal to 0, and as I move through across the X-axis of the screen, it ends up at 10 on the other side. So what I can do is take that block and plug it directly into the set head turn block. Now this isn't going to do anything on its own, because what we want is anytime the mouse position changes, we want that head turn motor to be updated to that new mouse position. So to do that, we need one more block, which is in the control palette, and that's a forever loop. And what forever loops do is any blocks that are inside them, they repeat them for as long as the program's running. So I'm going to take that, snap it inside the forever loop, and then put that on the green flag clicked. So if I run that now, then as I move the mouse around, you can see I've got control over where the head turn motor position is. So if we wanted to improve that slightly, we could take a head nod block, and we could go back into our sensing blocks, and this time I'm going to take the mouse Y position and snap that inside the head nod motor. So now if I run that, then you can see now I've got full 2-axis control of where the robot's looking, and it's completely following the mouse. So it's already brought the robot to life a fair bit compared to where we were. The last thing we might want to do in this video is to bring some speech in. So I'm going to start another thread over here using a new when green flag clicked block, and this is going to run at the same time as my forever loop, and they're going to run together. So on this one, I'm going to go into the speech palette and choose one of these speech blocks. You've got two options here for speech. You've got a say block or a say until done block, and the difference between the two is that a say until done block will wait whilst the speech is being spoken until it moves on to the next command in the sequence. A say block will instantly move on to the next command as soon as that block's triggered. So in this instance, it doesn't matter which one I use, but I'm going to use a say hello until done, and that's in there. I'm just going to change the voice at the top as well, and we're going to use Microsoft George. So now if I run that, hello, you can see that it says hello. One thing that might be nice would be to trigger this speech on a different thing other than the green flag clicked, so that I can trigger it whilst the program's already running. So to do that, I could use a when spacebar clicked event block rather than the when green flag clicked event block. If I snap that on, then now as I move the mouse around, the robot's looking around, and I can press the spacebar and it will say hello. You might have noticed that the lips aren't moving, but that's something that we're going to look at in the next video to get the lips synced up with the robot. So that's it for now, and thanks for watching.